Okay, class three. In this lesson, we're going to start thinking about that open letter again. But before we start writing our own letter, we're going to have a look at some of the features of a formal letter. This isn't going to be a chatty letter. It's not going to be hello there. I'm a little bit worried about bits and pieces. It's going to be a formal letter. So we've got to do this in a particular way. So we're going to look at an example of a formal letter and kind of break it down and have a look at the different parts of that and go through that. So let's take a look at an example of a formal letter first of all. Okay, so this is an example letter of a formal persuasive letter, and actually the content's quite similar. You might get some ideas for your own letter based on this one itself, but to begin with, I just want to focus in on the different parts, the different features of this letter. So let's have a think. The first thing we've got here is the address. Now this is the address that we send it from. So you might want to use our school address there. So that goes in the top right-hand corner, and we've got the date as well for when we're writing it. But we also add in the address of who we're writing to as well. It's just a formal construct that we use there. So we're going to put that on the left-hand side. We've got our greeting, dear sir or madam, and actually I'm going to go down to the bottom here. We've got our ending, the signing off of the letter as well. Now there's a few bits and pieces you can do here. Normally, actually, I would say we've got this slightly wrong. If you're going to put dear sir or madam, then actually you probably ought to use yours faithfully. Usually when we don't know the name of the person we're writing to, we use yours faithfully. So in this case, dear sir or madam, or to whom it may concern, we don't know their name, so we go for yours faithfully. And you can put your name or sign it off from our class. If you do know the name, dear Mr. Johnson, then we can put in yours sincerely then. So it's just a little tweak that we could make to this one. And then we've got our kind of three parts. We're focusing three paragraphs for our letter, and we've got the introduction first of all. So this is what we're going to say: who we are, where we're from, and why we're writing. So we're stating our point of view. Remember, if we go back to that persuasive writing we did about Pandora, then we always state our point of view first of all. The inform, this is where we're going to use our information that we've been gathering over the last lessons. And we're going to give details about that problem of climate change and what's happening, what's gone wrong, and why something needs to be done. So we're stating our case here, I guess. And then the instruction. This is what we want the person who we're writing to do. This is the response we want them to do. So these are the key features of this letter here. Within this middle part, look, we might want to use evidence and facts, again, that we've pinched from that research we've been doing. So we've got all those different features that we're going to put in. I would like you to record these features down. So that's kind of today's lesson. So we're going to use a knowledge organizer again. So let's just have a quick look at that knowledge organizer and see what we might include within that. Okay, so this is the knowledge organizer that we're going to be using. The features of the letter we're going to put in there: formal language, useful vocabulary, and any notes, useful facts we might use. So let's just have a quick look at some of the things we might put here. So the features of the letter, things I might put here. So I'm going to remind myself of some of the things. So sender's address, I'm just going to be putting up there. It's one of the first thing we need to put in there. Sender's address, I might put date because that usually goes beneath that one as well, but we're also going to be doing the recipient's address as well, so the address of who we're sending it to. So I'm going to make sure I put that one in there, recipient's address. These are reminders to make sure we get these bits and pieces in. The next thing, I guess, are my three main paragraphs. Oh, the formal greeting, let's put that in as well. I could put an example of that, but I might put that somewhere else. And then I can go through my different parts. So introduce. I might just remind myself what that is. So who you are, etc. You get the idea. So you can have bits and pieces in there. The formal language. So these are actually bits that I might want to use and pinch for my own letter. So you go through, you might want to highlight a few bits and pieces within the letter. I've kind of gone through and circled a few bits and put some lines under a few bits. So formal language. We have we have been researching, actually I might put researching as there, we've been researching. Sounds quite formal, I might use that one within my own letter. It is time to stop. It is time to stop. So we're really looking for those kind of formal phrases within there, so we can do those. The useful vocabulary, well, actually I've kind of gone for those because we've got our terminology on our planning sheet from the other lesson, from our research sheet. So actually these are this is going to be useful vocabulary that we might use within our letter. So again, I've kind of gone through and picked out a few words that I've underlined and penned there that I might want to use within our own letter. So I've got responsibility. What else? Excess is a good word. I might want to use that one. Endangering. So these are all really good words, very persuasive words that we might want to use within our own letters. And then if there's anything within that letter that you think might be useful, notes and useful facts. So for instance, we could put our formal greeting here. So if we're doing dear sir or madam, so this is one where we don't know who we're writing to, then our ending should be, yeah, yours faithfully. Or you might want to put their name and end it with yours sincerely. So that's your task. I'd like you to go through and have a look through the features of a formal persuasive letter. Use that sheet first of all. Highlight that if you need to. Underline bits and pieces that are going to be useful. And then transfer that information onto our knowledge organizer, because we're going to be using that as part of our plan and part of our own letter. So if you can't print that out, that's fine. Just copy down those subheadings into your book and just write it into your English book. Otherwise, you can write it onto a sheet and you can then stick that into your book there. So I'll be looking forward to hearing some of those different bits and pieces that you put down. So best of luck with that, and we'll catch up later.